Boris Nemtsov was no stranger to the CBC. Our producer, Alex Shprintsen, interviewed him often and knew him personally. Alex joins us now from our London bureau. Alex, how would you describe him?
Yes, he came to Toronto a few years ago for some sort of event, called me because we knew each other through all these different stories, and I suggested, he told me he was a hockey fan, I suggested we go to a Leaf game, and he thought that was a great idea. We went there, and what struck me about him, and it's a very interesting quality, very rare in Russian politicians, probably all politicians, he was completely loose, free. He was like a big kid. During the intermission, he went to the concession, he bought Coke, he bought popcorn, he cheered, he screamed. He was as if this had been an event, and he'd never been to a hockey game, and it was funny, and this is the kind of thing that he was, charming, humorous, and at the same time, a person with great intellect.
But he was one of the very few dissenting voices in Russia. What compelled him to continue doing that?
He was, at the time of Boris Yeltsin's presidency, supposed to be thought of as the successor to him. But what stopped it was that there was an economic default in 1998, and he was one of the fall guys for it. So his career that way ended. That's kind of what led to Putin becoming president. And Nemtsov was very unhappy because he saw that Putin was little by little every year was dismantling various democratic institutions. And so he was trying to flail against that. Now, the problem for him was all these years that particularly in the last, say, 5 or 10, is that all the main media in Russia, the TV and newspapers and everything, essentially, they would not let him on other than to criticize him. And it's almost as if you imagine that in this country, the opposition leader can never get on CBC, CTV, Globe and Mail, Toronto Star, National Post, and so on. And so it became a niche figure where he was basically trying to appeal to a small group of people through the internet and so on, but he was very charismatic, very eloquent, and in that sense, he definitely was a thorn in the side of the regime. Why it happened, we don't know for sure, but I can tell you that he was a free man in a country that's not free.